That's a little better. There we go.
Are you in the dungeon? Where are you?
I am actually. The funny part is it won't let my phone do it because it's coming off that it's blocked my mic and my camera.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But we're good.
Very cool. Well, we are all here, so let's kick things off. We'll vamp a little bit until hopefully some people show up. So it is Charlie and Matt. Matt from Meet the Pressers, Charlie from Riding Shotgun with Charlie, and we are doing a live show. We have Mike Hughes and Britt Lentz from NextLevel Training, and they have some new things they're going to talk to us about, and we're going to hang out with these guys for the next hour. I'll bring this up again when we get more people in here, but if you go to meetthepressers.com /giveaway and enter the word SIRT, then you will be entered to win $650 worth of NextLevel Training gear. And we're going to do that just before the hour is over. So we've got some people on now, which is awesome. Please go to meetthepressers.com /giveaway and enter SIRT to be entered in for the giveaway that we're going to be doing later in the hour. So there we are. There's the biz.
Guys blanked out a bit there. I'm back.
Uh-oh, who's out?
It's that Washington connection over there.
Too close to Canada.
Yeah. Can you see Russia from there?
Yeah. No, but almost Alaska.
Oh, there you go.
Perfect.
So, and something that Charlie mentioned for everybody that's joining in now, Refined Savages is Mike and Britt's new side company, new venture, I should say. And so some of the products in that $650 actually is going to be some of that. So some pretty cool stuff that we're going to talk about here in a little bit.
Perfect.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We're excited to be on the show. I'm obviously Matt. We've had our fun time, and then Charlie. We've had our enjoyable time. So it's excited to get you two together and allow us both to be on here.
For sure.
Yeah,
so
glad you guys are here.
On that note, I'm looking at the Refined Savages website right now, and I know one of you guys had to do this with a drone. The video of it swooping down through that's great.
Yeah, it's my drone work. Britt's a talent on there. I know it's a liberal use of the word talent, but he was a subject. So there's a local place, Canyon Creek in the Northwest. So yeah, it's I guess it's kind of the theme too. I mean, you figure out a new entity. It's like, well, what does this look like? What's the theme to it? And it's not really just hunting. You know, it's not really just survival. I don't know. Like we're not exactly sure what it is, but we know what it is when it is. You know, like a little bit of outdoors, a little bit of kind of independence, and you know, so a video like that is kind of what we try to capture things a little bit, Matt.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
The best video, Matt, was the one where he actually absolutely ran into me with it. We'll put that one somewhere so you guys can see it. But
it'll be the bloopers, right?
Right.
It'll be
real.
That's on the Patreon. The back end only for
a great sniper shot.
Yeah.
Speed up the film a little bit, and it looks like a straight drone come barreling in and go whack.
So when I was at USCC Expo, Gary explained to me where the name Refined Savages came from. When do you guys want to talk about it and mention where it came from?
Well, I'm afraid of what story Gary told you, but I don't think Mike will go with this one.
I don't remember, actually. That's a good question. Should almost have Gary. Gary's kind of an earl of the company there. You know, it's a subsidiary type thing of NextLevel Training, but he's been part of this whole thing. So what did he say, actually?
Well, partly me throwing it back on you guys is I forgot the complete story, but it was something to the effect of you guys were out or something like that, and you just got done working or whatever, and you were kind of like all greasy and dirty or something, and then it just came up. I don't know if you went to dinner or something to that extent, but it was interesting nonetheless, whether it was true or not.
I guarantee we probably went to the North Fork Brewery because that's kind of where our meeting place is after a good day on the range like that. So I bet that's exactly what it was.
Nice.
The actual meaning of it, though, and the reality is why we came up with it was we wanted something that conveyed the mentality of a refined savage, the fact that we can all have that internal savage that exists, but we can be refined while still maintaining our savageness that goes along and allows us to function all day, every day in a different light.
You know, it's interesting because if you think about it, we are, yeah, I mean, it's like the Tim Kennedy mindset. He's always looking how he's going to kill somebody in a room, you know, or the John Lovell mindset of, you know, that the neighboring tribe. We're not worried about the neighboring tribe coming in and raping and pillaging our village, or, you know, being invaded by a foreign country as much anymore. And we have to be savages internally, but be refined publicly, if you will. You know, it's kind of neat. I love that.
Yeah, and I think that dichotomy, or that yin and yang like feel to that isn't so it's to be hidden or not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think really embrace that we're savages, and you know, it's not necessarily like a plan to kill everyone in the room, but just like look, you know, you gotta, you know, earn some food, and you got to have like some warmth, and there's some real basic animal instincts we have as just hairless apes roaming the earth. But yet our upper neocortex really allows us to do some pretty fantastic things. And yeah, refined and refining things, and artistic on things, being smart on things, using every tool at our disposal, whether it's a smartphone or what have you. So this is a bit of a, I guess we kind of like that bit of that yin and yang aspect, lifestyle aspect, right? Go very transparent on both extremes, like broaden out your standard deviation, you know, to be super savage and then super smart.
Yeah. So I love the names though of the products you came up with for that, right? I mean, torch. Like, it's a torch, right? It's something that you'd use as a savages, right? Didn't invent it, I guess you'd say, with the fire, and then the G-spot. I mean, that's just, for sure. Yeah. That is right. That is a guy's invention for sure.
Hey, we finally found it.
Or it's a myth. We're not sure.
It's a mythical creature, right? Amen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys made the mythical creature real.
Yeah. You know, and honestly, guys, the other piece to it is that it was kind of our skunk works. You know, we've had products that we wanted to create and we wanted for ourselves personally. And when we started to go down these lanes, we figured that, you know what, it's just better to keep our live fire and our dry training company separate. And that kind of what forced us to kind of go down some of these lanes, just mentally, not that we had to, but we felt that it was the best for what we wanted to do.
When I think I was out there having lunch with you guys back in August, we were all visiting our daughter in Washington. We had this conversation at the table, at the round table, and the first thing that came to my mind was necessity breeds invention. And obviously, with Mike being a patent attorney, I mean, it's right up your guys' alley. I mean, so you guys are going to be cranking out stuff. I'm excited to see what else is coming. I mean, if you want to like divulge anything new that might be coming out, down the road or whatnot, you can let that out here if you'd like.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
We can certainly. Well, a little bit. I mean, but necessity and just vetting things out, Matt. I think that's really important. Like, there's gimmicky things, and I think I find a lot of times, and I saw this as being a patent attorney, is there's just a lack of vetting the product out, and an astonishing amount of not using their own product. Like, people inventing something or think of an idea and not having even a follow through to fully test it themselves, like even the prototype phase, and try to push it to market. And that's how you get some crap, some really weird stuff, like as we've seen in our industry, so it has to pass our test, which may be a little bit biased because maybe our needs are different than others, but at least that's at least the genesis, the beginning of the design process.
For sure. I mean, it's good that you guys are making sure you're not putting anything out just to put it out. I mean, that's kudos to you guys, and that's evident with all the next level training stuff, all the SIRT products. You guys stand behind your products, and you really put your blood, sweat, and tears into it. So
we use them every day. Still, 12 years into it, Yeah,
it's awesome.
Literally, if not every day, but say 5 days a week. Without question.
For sure,
travel and everything. So yeah.
I've got one in the back picture of every show I do, and I've got multiple in my store for all the classes that I teach, and I got one sitting right next to my chair that I use to drive fire practice at night when my wife's watching. Yeah, exactly. And because of the G-spot, this elusive creature that you guys have invented, I am going to be changing over. I think I might have mentioned this when we got together, but I'm going to be changing back from Walther to Glock, so that I can use the G-spot and also the torch on my Glock 17 and Glock 19 for on duty and off duty. So,
Oh yeah,
Very nice.
yeah, awesome. Should we jump into what the hell we're talking about? The G-spot and torch and all that?
please.
Yes. So
For sure.
here's the G-spot.
There
Right?
it is.
That is
So-
it.
All
So
right.
elegant.
It's right. It's so elegant. We finally get to see one. Tell us about it.
Sure. Well, as far as starting with the name, I mean, there's that. Okay, I got an unloaded pistol here, right? No ammo around here, but so we have that spot in the Glock, right? That gap area, which is open, and so it's that spot in the Glock, the G spot. You know, hence the name. And we can, and I know it's a little bit crass and a little bit, a little risque, double entendre, all that, but it plays well, and we test the market, so to speak, kind of informally, and females laugh, the jokes ensue, and all that, but we have it right on our packaging, nice big.
In full story though, I have to say, as with all great ideas, the name came out over beers with my brother-in-law and I. And he said, well, why don't you call it the G-spot? And I'm like, that's brilliant.
Brilliant.
That's awesome.
Brilliant. Yeah. So the challenges though is like, Britt and I look at us, hey, what do we put in here? What can we do? And one thing, it's really kind of our theme. It's kind of like we're about like a little survival, bushcraft, and just trying to be practical. I mean, fire is so fundamental. It's fundamental to our psychology. It's fundamental to survival. It's just fundamental to being a human, right? Really think about it. And it's something to just be nice to have, because there's fire starter kits, but do you guys have one on you right now? The threshold question, like, do you have a lighter on you right now, and what have you, and smoking get out of vogue, even that's more rare, right? So anyhow, like, what we have is essentially there's a plug, and you can just take this and pry out the plug and this little ferro rod, and you can see. Oh, first step too is make sure your gun is clear, ammo's gone, right? Slide locked, right? Or doing any of this messing like this. So then, so you got the rod, and then you got these cotton tinders, and this is actually really cool. We have a machine that makes these now, and it is really neat, to make something like this. This is American cotton, American machinery. Like it's quite something to get a little piece of compressed tinder like this.
That's cool.
And so then further in here, all right, we have 2 fuel packs, and these can get pried out. And essentially the fuel packs are petroleum jelly. All right. So these are petroleum jelly. And we have another machine, like we plastic injection these, right? With a little cap on it. And we have a machine that fills these very precisely, trolleys along. We got to close it, and it goes through a heating and then a gnarling, and to make, a little fuel pack, right? Make sense? So you got fuel, and there's 2 of those. And then this guy pops out. This is actually made in Japan, Japanese vendor. This is a really good striker. This actually is pretty solid. A knife works better if you have one, but all that fits in here. And basic operation is that, you have a striker, and you have your ferro rod and a little handle on it. So I gotta be careful with this. I got a mild amount of PTSD because we lit a big ball of cotton on fire in our office. Like, the petroleum jelly is nothing. That's like diesel. That's
hey, don't say we. It was not we.
Taking any ownership on that. But I was messing around with striker and getting this, and then boof. And that, cotton, like a big thing of just regular cotton, stuffing cotton, insanely flammable.
For sure.
So we had quite a fire.
So here's a fun fact. You had mentioned as far as like having that fire starter on you, how important that is, and in some sense, like a tourniquet, your IFAC, your individual first aid kit, your quick clot, your chest seals, all that we talk about in the industry for first aid. Flashlights, obviously, and in that case, and I always say 2 is 1, 1 is none. Have 2 flashlights on you, have 2 guns on you, have 2 of everything if you can. 1 fails, but so the flashlight, the torch, but then on top of that, the fire starter. I keep if anybody watches Lost, the movie Lost, I'm like, if the plane goes down, I'm not searching for my bag. In my carry-on bag, I always carry a fire starter with me, and I've never had TSA take it. And I always brought it on the plane because my thought is if it goes down, so now what do I have on it? I got the G-spot on the plane.
Yeah. When you
can find it easily.
Carry on, so you'd have to scurry for that. But you do always have your pistol on you, right? So why not?
True. Well, not on the carry-on.
Have it on there.
True.
I mean, it's no liability. It just fits in your area. And then this is obviously Gen 5 with medium grips. So even with the medium grips, now the housing fits behind there. I can't pull the housing out, but that's fine. I can get still have full access, certainly.
Sure.
But yeah, but protocol, I mean, just to cap this off, I mean, you take these little cakes and you just start prying them apart, right? And I ripped that one. I shouldn't rip it really. But once you just kind of pry it apart, you can use a little knife for that. You cut these little guys open. It actually works pretty well. The little blade.
Got a blade built in.
What's that?
So you got a blade built in, even that. You thought of everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally. So it's completely contained. Now, if you have a knife, it'd be better. I mean, a knife works a little better, full tool. But still, this little guy works great. And then, you got to train it. That's the thing, too, quite frankly. What we want to do is when people buy the packs, have in behind the casing like, hey, look, register online, whatever, and we will send you extra goods, right? Because what we don't want, it's kind of just part of our culture too. This, very well, Matt, with our training, we don't want people to do the first time when they really need it. It's like, look, we're cranking these out. We'll pay shipping. Just pay shipping, like true shipping, like $2.95, whatever it is, $2.78. We'll send you a few of these and a few of these, so you can actually train it. You know what I mean? Like really make sure that you can pull it out, do it, and you learn really quick. You do got to have like some extra, your what do you call it? Your scaling up your goods, like as far as like your sticks and your needles and everything. It's pretty fun. It's really rewarding to do. Britt and I have done it a lot since making this product, right? So in your backyard, right? Get some supplies, train it up so you have substantive confidence in it.
More tender, Michael. Exactly right. Yep.
Yeah, more tender. Yeah, for the combustion chain, right? To get bigger of, make a full-fledged proper fire.
Well, that's freaking awesome. And just to say, and I actually forgot about it. Charlie just sent me a message. We don't want to have YouTube have a orgasm because you're touching the gun. So we got to, because we're on YouTube Live.
You're touching the G spot.
Yeah.
First time for everything, guys.
I was on another show and I picked up I grabbed a rifle off the wall and they're like, oh no, put it down. I'm like, what? Oh, that's right, YouTube.
No.
All these rules. Somebody else said if you if you show a 30-round magazine, YouTube will tank you too. If you show, I'm like, really? Jeez.
I don't know. They got to cut that stuff out. I mean,
for sure. Elon
needs a little libertarian about it. I mean, come on, I mean,
sure.
I mean that's going off topic, but we just got to forcefully redirect the whole conversation. That look, firearms are to overthrow an autocratic government, right? If we go autocratic and tyrannical, that is its purpose. That is a big deal. And over the next 200, 500 years, there's a high probability, we're going to fall or be in danger of that. So not to go on a tangent on you guys, but we just have to forcefully change. It's not about hunting or even self-protection. It's about, literally, and we have to have it to say it that boldly, that open, like, not if the election or there's bad policy. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking a true autocratic, autocracy, tyrannical entity, which is not the United States by definition, and we're the last, Americans are the last line of defense of that. So,
right. Absolutely.
I'll use that joke in class. I'll say, what's the Second Amendment? Just because it has the word bear in it doesn't mean it's about hunting. That's not the type of bear founding fathers were talking about. And then I'll say it's about self-defense and keeping our government from turning into a tyranny. Oops, we failed on that one. It's going in that direction.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
all right, so here's I've got another. Oh, this is not working out too well. But here's here's a little picture of the G spot there. So that's you can kind of see what that is, and it looks like it comes in a package like this.
Yeah, I got one that's right around here. I didn't. Yeah, exactly. That's one of the. So yeah, we designed that up so you get extra fuel packs right there. You know, the striker, the little tenders, the whole bit. So you kind of build your bear, right? Put it all together and get it tucked away. So at least we were thinking about selling it just all together, but it's a little more visual. I think it sells a little better looking like that. And I think, I don't know, I'm afraid I hate it when people get stuff and they don't train with it, you know?
Yeah.
It seems like survival stuff tends to be that way. And I do it too. I got some gas masks or stuff like that. I don't really test them because I don't want to waste the filter and all that. And we should, right? It's just
for sure.
It's shooting it. If a dirty nuke cooks off or something, right? I mean, we should test everything we have, right?
Definitely. Even ammo. I mean, you get that with my students. If you're going to buy defensive ammo, go out to the range and test it. Make sure your gun, the magazines, and the ammo all work together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
So what else is on the horizon? By the way, did you see Clint's post here, Clint's message? He gave you a big harumph, like
true check and balance of our constitutional republic. Yeah.
I miss Clint. It's been a while.
Yeah. He messaged earlier. I don't know if you guys saw that when he said howdy. Here it is.
Nice.
He said, great to see you, fellas. You just used the stick today in class.
Ah, wonderful. Very good.
Here is a stick, right?
Yeah.
That's the baby.
Yeah, we're incredibly pleased with that product and how it turned out. It's be around the house, you know, we can repurpose the SIRT, right? Just plug it in there. And yeah, it's, you know, the big thing on that, and it's obviously for AR-15 training and such, but use an old optic. Like people say, can you sell an optic? Can you put an optic on? Like, you know, which one? And
right.
You know, and we want to keep the item about $200, but you know how much you could spend on an optic. So there's always that. Let me ask you guys this: do you have an optic which you just don't quite trust in a live fire gun, holding zero and stuff?
Yeah, older ones for sure.
Yeah, so that's a perfect one to throw on the stick, right? In particular, just to do offhand shooting at a license plate as far as you can put it on your property, you know, through the window.
The other reason we went to that is because we found that previously with the Bolt, we had the retrofitted live fire, but the reality is it's still a live fire gun. And so that live fire gun is still there. And anytime it needs to be locked in a safe, you can't just leave it around the way you do with the SIRT to get the training in. And the minute it gets locked away, now it's another barrier to entry to try to train. And anytime there's a barrier to entry, what does that lead to? Less training. And so we tried to really limit the barrier to entries. The other problem is in a lot of scenarios where, you know, you're talking law enforcement or military, that still has to be in the armory, right? Because again, it's a live fire gun. And so now with that one, it's completely inert, which keeps it in a whole different situation and scenario with training that now we're actually dealing with inert weapons, which is versus possible live fire weapons.
Right.
And when you guys came up with that, I think we talked 3 or 4 years ago is when we sat down with you guys, interviewed you, Clint and I did at SHOT Show in the Keltec booth. And I think it was right around that time when you guys released that, right? It's been about 3 years.
Right up in there. I think we were talking about it at that time. I don't remember if we released it then or not, but yes. Yeah.
Gotcha. And I think that was one of the barrier entries there. You guys didn't want to include this make it all one device. You wanted to be able to allow people to reuse the SIRTs that they've been buying all these years. So that was pretty good, nice for you guys to do that to your client base, to be able to give back to them in a way and say, hey, I'm not, you know, we don't want to gouge you. We want you to repurpose and use what you're already using and complement this add-on. So that was good. That was smart.
Well, there's a lot to that resetting trigger, you know, I mean, is to make that work. I mean, so yeah, repurposing the SIRT works. just really well. I mean, it plus, like, you don't need the barrel. The barrel can be solid. It's just there for weight, but it's nice to have the length of the barrel just to make sure that you're not flagging your muzzle coming around corners, doing drills like that. You're not clunking it in your car, so you have the proper length to what your live fire tool is. So yeah, it really works. I mean, the rifle's very forgiving tool compared to pistol. So I don't think people are as excited to train with it, but what they should be excited on, or should kind of some awareness on to train, is just your offset, right? Particularly in close, from your optic to where the bullet is and such. Sling work, just to feel comfortable with that. And it's working the safety, gun up, safety down. I can't tell you how many times, fellas, we've been in trade shows and someone comes up and they're, a rifle guy or purport to be, and the trigger doesn't work, right? I go, well, remember the safety is fun. Oh yeah. I'm not a real big rifle guy, but I've done enough to know gun up, safety down, gun down, safety up. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I always see that, like when I work different booths and stuff at the shows. People walk up, they're like, "Hey, I'm an instructor," and then they pick up the gun with their finger right on the trigger, or whatever, and it's just you can immediately tell they're blowing shit.
Yeah, but hey, it's fine. Like a little bit of humility, massaged in there, can be helpful, and so people understand, like, I probably should train some of this a little bit more. But unfortunately, ego and self-deceit take foothold, and that's a toxic elixir.
For sure. For sure. Nobody wants to look like an idiot in front of complete strangers, much less friends and such. So totally get that. Some of the drills. So you have a training program up on USCCA's website, correct?
Yeah.
And then is that distributed just exclusively through the USCCA, or do you also have that with the NRA or on your guys' website? Is there any other place somebody might be able to gain access to that to get some training experience with the SIRT?
Yeah, well, on our main website, NextLevel Training, we have more of a blog post, and I took a little sabbatical of that for a while. I think I've said everything there is to say, but we're kind of getting fired up to just hit it again, and we're finding a huge need just for basic drills, right? Even if it's sort of restated, right? Of just, prep, break, reset, re-prep, right? Real basic fundamental stuff. SIRT Living is an e-learning course. It's being revamped right now. It's taking a lot longer than it should, and that's my fault. So we had a train the trainer course on there with applied fundamentals, and it was an online course, free, right? Just so if anyone wants to put on a second course that's off the range with SIRT systems, as far as trigger control, working the draw, working various progressions, moving no shoots, whole lot of drills which you can take, implement on any way you personally see fit, but to give some ideas, right? You start with the framework and go, okay, I can take that, and fill 4 hours, charge $50, right? And a 1,500 square foot place, and or whatever is suitable to charge in your area, and be revenue generating. That's kind of the thought on some of those courses, Matt.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think anytime you can take a product and wrap a course around it, just makes it better for people to integrate it in all they're doing and such. I'm using you guys have been a sponsor of my classes for years, as well as Clint's, and Clint and I use a lot of the guns in the classes, and I'm using them in my force on force classes that I teach certifying instructors around the country, as well as my 18-hour class with the students in New York State looking to get their pistol license now. And I'd rather put a SIRT in their hands and have them shoot the course of fire, the 12 feet, 5 rounds at a 11-inch by 25-inch target. Ridiculous, but I'd rather have them do that first time and just kind of get an idea versus having them have a live gun in their hand. So I'm using that as a step above, or a step just prior to them using a real gun.
We're seeing that a lot. Like we just put on a course, like a week-long course last week with the agency, and with 8 instructors, and the notion of getting the fundamentals in upstream, just with grip, and then like the trigger control progressions, and the whole time integrating finger off the trigger and muzzle awareness. I know I'm pointing at the screen right now, right? But I mean, that all that is huge, right? And Britt has a point on this too, as far as the grip naturally tightening up, just to get tighter dots, not dashes.
Yeah, a lot of what we see and what we have seen for a while now is that everyone is talking about the issue of recoil, right? They want recoil. Well, what we find in a very, very odd way is that when you are using the SIRT and you are breaking the trigger, the first thing you do, if that dot is not a dot, it's a dash and it's moving around, is you tighten your grip. You lock your arms down. You lock everything down, which is exactly what you need to be doing for recoil. So the reality is that carryover does have an effect there that honestly, originally we kind of hated to talk about it because we kind of like, is this real? But the reality is it is real.
Sounds like we're BSing. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
Because if you want to get a nice clean dot, right, and it's dashing away, you tend to, with both hands, just really like lock it in all the better.
For sure. Because
and we found that in ourselves and some others. So it's an interesting. There's always more carryover to live fire performance than I initially would have thought 12 years ago before, when I first designed it,
Definitely. When I do the class, I'll tell people something I say. I might have told you guys this, I'm not sure, but I'll tell people, if you feel like that gun's jumping up out of your hands, you're not gripping tight enough. If you feel like the recoil's pushing you back, you're not leaning in far enough. And I'll do that in the class with the SIRT, and I'll tell them, I say, we want to see a dot. If we see any kind of dash or horizontal line, or even an up and down line, any kind of dash, then it's something to do with the fundamentals. You're not doing it right. And if it's horizontal, a lot of times it's just you're not gripping tight enough. And I'll even find myself doing that and tightening down. So that's spot on, exactly what you guys are saying, which translates to the live fire. You're out in the range, and if that gun's moving around in your hand, you're not getting a hit. Well, it might be because you're just not gripping tight enough. You're not biting down on that gun.
Kind of locking in on it. I'll just wedge this in real quick if I can. There's one drill I really like doing in a class. And you get the grip establishment, you do all these blocks of instruction. And then while they're holding that, you test it, you just torque a little bit to make sure they're not like sloppy.
Yeah.
And then give like these little thumps, right? And you miss every now and then, little thumps. You have to just tip it like that. You can use a water bottle if you really don't want to have your hand in front, what have you. Great way for students to build that rationalized apathy, so they don't care about the boom. They understand you don't contract more muscles or less. It's a drill we like to emulate recoil, and you can give a bigger thump than you would get in recoil. I mean, it's amazing how much you can acclimate just with your hand. That that F equals ma, force equals mass times acceleration, that equal and opposite force which a round would inflict on the muzzle, for them to return the muzzle down to a consistent location. So anyways, geeked out on you a little bit there.
No, that's the Mike Hughes brain. We love it. What do we got? Dots are cool, dashes are dorky.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's great. So the ability to dry fire train with a tool such as your guys is and then take that and it directly transfers over. I do a lot of analogies with vehicles, and I'll always tell people you're not going to jump in a car Indy 500 if you're the first time you're driving. You're going to sit in the car and you're going to look around at all the knobs, switches, levers, and buttons. You're going to probably be turning it on, moving things around for quite a bit, sitting in the car because you're petrified to put it in gear. I mean, in a sense, that's kind of like the SIRT, right? You start out with the fundamentals, you have that in your hand, you practice, you try to hone in all those fundamentals, and then somebody could go out from there to the range and start shooting. And then from there would be like a defensive encounter where now you've got audio exclusion, time dilation, all the other stuff that affects you under extreme stress. So and then even obviously for a normal shooter, somebody who shoots, or a competition shooter, it's across the gambit, a great tool for anybody, new beginners all the way up to competition shooters, which is awesome.
Well, the big thing we stress too on that, Matt, is particularly, getting the fundamentals is great, feeling comfortable. And then we find like a lot of people will train someone else, like they'll train their spouse or what have you. But it's the 2 minute, not even 2 minute drills, like 20-second drills, this uncalibrated trainings, right?
Cold.
So you just basically make sure you're clean and you're good. And, you kit up a little bit, and it's just simple boom, draw, boom, pop, 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 pop. I don't know how much that came through. My camera freezed on that, but an uncalibrated training where you push yourself, you're training your natural point of aim, some target in the room, you have no live fire around you, you follow the safety protocols and still having a good backdrop, just an abundance of caution, right? I mean, make sure you don't shoot at a wall with your kids behind it, just an abundance of caution.
For sure.
And that is huge. I just shot my first match in 6 years this last Sunday.
Wow. How'd you do?
Yeah, really well. I mean, I was shocked. Like 90% alphas. I was shooting Winchester white box, so I had like a malfunction in every stage but one. It's like,
wow.
Stock gun, stock 19, and a stock ammo. Stock. And I still had like, it's crazy. And anyways, point being, I felt really good, better than I thought, way better than I thought. And the shot production, old school. Just.
Huh?
Still got the peeps, so I'm just gonna go stick with irons, as long as I can. But yeah, I don't know. Point being though is like I've been doing a lot of training with the SIRT, like just uncalibrated trainings it's been years and years and years and years.
I had no doubt that you did really good on that competition because how fast you shot the SIRT just a minute ago, it was so fast we didn't even see it. Like,
frame rate. Want me to do it again?
It's like, did he do it?
Yeah.
Right.
I missed it. It was so fast.
Some Gene Wilder stuff right there, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
sitting all smug on the horse. Yeah, right.
Right.
So when I was out there, you guys were gracious enough to give me a tour of the factory, and it was just so cool just to walk around and see people that I see at the shows at your guys' booth and employees there, and it was really cool to see the behind the curtain of NextLevel Training and now Refined Savages. So it was awesome to be out there with you and have you give me the Grand Central tour.
Wait to see our manufacturing equipment for Refined Savages, like this stuff. I think you'll be really, you'll think it's pretty cool. Like it's pretty neat how we've got some automation and programmable logic controllers and using compressed air and presses and rotary functions. Wow. I'm pretty excited on what we're doing on that with our engineer Tom. It was just amazing. Just amazing.
Very cool.
One of the viewers says, okay, so Winchester. Winchester. Check.
Let's be honest though, Winchester White Label is our favorite training ammo. So it was an oddity.
Gotcha. It happens.
I don't know what's going on. I got a stock lock and stock ammo and failure to ignite. It's like, I don't know, but anyways.
Wow. He's probably limp wristing it.
Ooh, putting it back on Mike.
No, not failure. No, actually like hitting the primer, ka-chunk, and dead. And then of course training to go and getting back at it, right? But yeah.
So we have somebody that's asking, do you have any suggestions to help training with SIRT to translate into defensive situations?
Yeah.
What do you say about that?
I'd love to opine on that and give Britt an opportunity to talk as well. Like, so first off, it's fundamentals. I mean, make sure everything is so ingrained, like you just can't do it wrong, like your draw.
Cruise control.
Defeating your garment, right? Just, defeating garment, like boom, boom, click, getting out, everything like that. And then secondly, this is a big one, is get with a buddy, all right, who's of like mind and wants to train, do proper protocol, safety protocol, delineated area, okay? Like no one's really watching where you're at, so they can't be mistaken of there's actual incident going on. No live fire tools, or weapons or anything, or knives or anything like that, right? So you have in the cleansed area, buddy check, self check, do all the proper things. Don't let anyone come in and out, all that. And do force on force drills. Do the tooler drill, right, fellas? Nice. Stand away and give a clear, lethal threat, and really work drawing and putting on a 3D target, right? It's force on force training. This isn't new, but instead of using sims or airsoft, you can get a lot of repetitions in with the SIRT and learn a lot, even right to the point of extreme close quarters where you learn not to draw the gun, because then it's a fight for the gun. It's not a gunfight. You can learn real quickly. And self-explore, like really, really, and build substantive confidence in that. There's just by setting up your own scenarios, you can learn a lot. That is I think I strongly recommend to anyone going to SIRT and wants to, of course, take it to being most effective with it in defensive situations.
You know,
That's awesome.
we say two groups of people train the basics and trains the fundamentals, right? And that's the new shooter and the very, very experienced shooter. And I think that that's the biggest piece also that ties into that defensive shooting is, again, basics, fundamentals. And then the reality is then get some training. You know, you go get some training that goes through a lot of the other pieces of the progression that occurs in a defensive scenario. And if you can go into that course with those fundamentals that'll drive the gun, you're going to make that course that much better.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, David wanted to know, does the torch work with the 10 round mags? So
yeah,
I was
that's the same base plate. Yeah, there she is.
Picture of the torch.
Yeah, we got one right here in a SIRT. Obviously meant for a live fire tool, but yeah, I mean, this is the basic premise of it. I mean, I guess we didn't really touch on the background development of this, did we? In this,
we talked about it when I was there, but talk about it, Mike. Let people know.
Yeah, definitely let Britt chime in here too. But essentially, like, you know, we've never been happy with weapon-mounted lights, right? For a number of reasons. Because I got the holster I really like right now on me, and I have to get another holster, right? And then you got to get a light. And then always, I don't know about you guys, but always trying to manipulate and turn on and off the light. I just never worked. And even some name brand ones, we've had some reliability issues. So I didn't like it. Not to mention, it's a very narrow field. And most of all, where is the weapon-mounted light pointed, right? Right where we're searching. Well, fellas, 99% of what we're searching is not intended to be destroyed, right? Right? I mean, you ever think about that?
Yeah.
With weapon-mounted light? I think they're for rifles. Again, it goes back to that design thing. I don't know the history exactly. I think weapon-mounted light started with rifles, you know, coyote hunting, military, and what have you. And hey, we can make these small enough now. We can put them on pistols. Great. And they use the same philosophy. We need more lumens and we need to narrow it and we need to do this. And it's freaking stupid, if you ask me. Right? I mean, you know, Wes Doss talked about, you know, God rest his soul, talked about that a lot in his courses. So we thought, well, let's put it in a magazine. And we thought, oh, that's kind of stupid, you know, ha ha. But after a few renditions and playing with some prototypes and then getting it really snug and then figuring out, you know, how to get the battery in and also just, you know, a big dumb switch, you know, have illumination, have it geared and set so you have a natural high ready. So the illumination is coming out like, you know, in this field, but you want to have high ready. So you search like this. It's also a broader throw, right? And then if you, like you said, 1 is none, 2 is 1, you know, I like to have this backup right here. See how like kind of discreet that is? I don't know what's coming through on the camera. It's going slow.
Let's see it.
Yeah, you know, it doesn't look like anything, right?
Right.
But you can grab and it really quick you know, so, you know, if anyone carries more than an extra magazine, kudos to them. But generally it's 1 extra magazine, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's how we're really, really kind of pushing it is, you know, we really want to get 2 packs going and get people into the mindset of 2. Well, I take that back. Britt has a different view on that. He likes to carry it a little bit differently.
No, it's not that it's different. I like it too. I love the product. My mentality is I love it as my spare mag because then I always have a flashlight and a spare mag and it's the same thing, right? In my pocket. The nice piece about it is now is, like I always say, if you're in a scenario where you have to, you know, quick draw and engage a target in the dark, then you're in the wrong spot. You know, if you hear a bang in the night, you're going to probably have time to be able to then engage, switch mags, now go into it with a light on your firearm. For me, though, I love it as a spare backup. I use it 20 times a day because what's the reality of the times we use our light? Most of the time it's checking in, do I have a flat tire? Do I have a low tire? Did I drop my keys on the ground? You know, and so in that scenario, it looks like a tunnel rat light. You flip it over, you know, and it comes in exactly like Michael's doing there. And now you've got this flashlight that looks like just a normal flashlight. People don't even realize that you have a magazine in your hand. But I love it. That's normally the way I carry it. I will carry the gun once in a while also, but I love it just in my spare magazine pouch. And now instead of that old school 1 magazine, 1 flashlight, and a double pouch, you can just go with a single pouch with now that is your flashlight and your magazine itself.
I got a different take on that though. And it's we're different on that, we're different. I like carrying 2, and I'm not trying to sell more of these. This is just literally what I find best practices. I'll demo like 1 in the magazine. And here's why actually. I have 1, let me talk about this. Let the camera catch up here. I have 1 safety pin here, fellas, and it holds the magazine. It's almost like the concept of Neil and Christine's snag mag, where it sits, but it can just, it just, it doesn't look like anything, right? And it's just wicked fast to get out for a mag change. It's crazy. But check this out. I'll just do the waistline here. So I'm wearing a pretty tight, shirt. See how like this is rounded? It's crazy. It's like almost the opposite of a stealth bomber in the sense of it's rounded versus sharp edges, but it just tends to not print. Okay, and we actually did work this in the design. It wasn't dumb happenstance. But if I just go with a regular magazine, I got a training mag right here.
Alert from low battery.
Ooh, low battery.
That's you, buddy.
I don't want to do that. But anyways, you notice like how like this tends to print a bit more. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Kind of prints.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden you put, I'm giving some belly shots here. This just, it rounds it out. It's crazy. So pretty cool. I like having it on me in the pistol, just like a regular magazine. It's just a mag base, light. And then also having the spare. And a spare, as Britt said, and this to preempt someone say, well, you should only use that light for tactical situations. Don't use it for regular. No, it's not true. Here's the deal. Like, we have a good battery life, about an hour. The more you can have one tool for many problems, the more you're psychologically inclined to use it. Does that make sense, fellas?
For sure.
And if you want to use it, you get utility, you make it happen. Because again, if I ask how many people have an extra light on them, how many people have an extra magazine on them with their live fire, it narrows down pretty quickly, Yeah. So you got to make it. We got to look at this in a bigger picture for the motivational aspect. That makes sense?
Most definitely.
Absolutely.
We had one question that was a little bit ago. So apologize about the specs on the torch. What kind of runtime? I think you just said, Mike, what the runtime was, didn't you?
Yeah, it looked like it's like an hour.
An hour at 100%, and then for the next hour you get about probably 60% before it dies. So the nice thing is you can tell that it's gotten dim. You're still going to use out of it before you switch your battery. Battery CR2 lithium.
Okay.
Very cool.
We had a lot of people saying that it was interesting. They liked the idea. So that's and I was enamored by it when you showed it to me out there in August. So it's pretty cool.
Well, some people are not for it, right? And I like that. I mean, I understand why someone would have initial resistance. What if you drop the magazine? And if you drop the magazine, you use your light, so there's those initial questions that get through, definitely. But, our answer to some people just not about it is that, look, if you already got a solution of carrying extra mag, having 2 lights, a holster you like, you check the box on all those and you're good, you're set,
Right.
But we couldn't check those boxes. So we built this, and then we invest a fair amount of money.
For sure.
So everyone else can have one, And hopefully it keeps the lights on a little bit. So, yeah.
Hey, Clint, to answer the question I just saw pop up, the 115 and 115C has the ambidextrous safety.
There you go.
I
was just going to ask that. And then the other question that popped up was any upcoming other products. I know I kind of alluded to it, joked around about it earlier, but is there anything that you guys want to put out there? Anything on the block that you're throwing around? Or
I think nothing yet. We've got some stuff that hopefully by this summer we'll be able to get in front of you and be happy to come back and fill you in a little early on those.
Awesome.
For sure. All right. Well, listen, we got about 10 minutes left. If anyone is watching and hasn't gone to meetthepressers.com, patreon.com/giveaway and entered SIRT as the code. You need to. This way you can get entered to win. Let's see. I'm going to pull these up here. If I'm wrong, please let me know pretty quickly. We are giving away a SIRT pistol, and we're giving away a stick as well, correct?
Yep.
Nice.
It's $650 worth of NextLevel Training goodies.
And also the 2 Refined Savages items too. So
Oh,
the
nice.
torque
Yes.
and the G spot. So that total
All right.
comes up to 640.
640 with
640,
the SIRT pistol, the stick, the
650.
650 with the SIRT pistol, the stick, the G spot, and the torch. It's all the goodies, man. It's all of the NextLevel Training and Refined Savages goodies. That's awesome.
For sure. And you guys are going to be at SHOT Show. So do you know your booth number off the top of your head? You can plug that.
Oh, goodness. We should, but we don't.
No.
I could probably find it. I just had my Excel spreadsheet open with my list of booths that I'm going to be going to. So.
Oh, you're way ahead of it, man.
I'm trying, man. I want to make sure that
ahead of it. Yeah.
Disturbingly.
It's only a month out. I know it feels like it's forever away.
Right?
Oh,
Exactly.
I was just talking to someone this weekend. He's like, I've never gone. What do I need to do? I'm like, get on it. That would be a good answer.
yeah. Right.
And legit,
So-
I think he registered on Monday, and Tuesday I talked to someone and they're like, yeah, registration's done. I'm like, ooh, I don't know if he got in.
Oh yeah. Well, is it done, or you just got to pay for it now if it's after a certain time?
I don't know. He was trying to get in his media and the.
Oh yeah. I think
I don't know, man.
I hop on that like in October or something, or
Right.
earlier if we can. Yeah, booth number for NextLevel Training is 42653. 42653 at SHOT Show.
No more about us than we do.
Hey, that's why you got me around.
All right. Somebody says, what is the weight, and do you have a spec sheet I can send to Department Procurement?
Mm.
My question would be the what, but we can the SIRT itself or the torch or
The torch?
You can respond. Well, we can answer for both. I mean,
Yeah.
I can give a firm answer on that. I don't know. I don't know what the weight is on this. Like it's light. It's very, 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 very
It is.
light. The actual,
It is-
well, it
it
actually
is light.
comes like this. We have little containers, kind of standard containers, but essentially you get 1 or 2 torches. And oh, you know what? We do have a new tool. I didn't think about this. We have a mag base plate remover, which is really cool. Really
Very
like
cool. So G-Web's just asking here if it's a floor plate of the whole mag, and it's just a floor
floor
plate.
plate. Yeah, floor plate. So you replace your magazine. But here's a good point though. You know, it's so hard to get off Glock base plates. We have a tool. I don't have the prototype here. I completely spaced that, but it pushes down and it essentially arcs, and you squeeze it like to the magazine, and it will pop and it will pull the base plate off. Works great. Works
That's
great. We'll store like these 1.5 millimeter hex wrenches, which we use for everything. It stores in there. It's we're really gonna like that.
Very cool. All right. So Woods, you need to go to meetthepressers.com/giveaway and enter the code SIRT. That's how you need to do that, bud. Or just read the bottom of the screen. That's good too. It's been going for what, 50 minutes now?
Yeah. And you know how many people actually enter the contests after the show's over because they watch the show after it's done, and then they we'll get. Yeah, it's all right. That's okay.
That's all right. That is all right.
Yeah.
Here, I just posted too.
We can give a little tutorial on this if people want to know, like, because essentially you remove these 2 front hex screws. All right, they're 1.5 millimeter, and we did a lot on this to make this robust. Like we put brass inserts and lengthened and put bosses in there, and there's been a lot of R&D on this and a lot of renditions and a lot of tool changes to get it where we like it and it satisfies our pretty rigorous drop tests. So anyways, and you pop the front off, right? And this slides on. Okay. So that's your base plate. Boom, gets on. You still have the 4-plate on there. And of course, this front cap comes in and latches on. This front cap has little bosses, so it helps even hold the whole thing together, which make it even stronger. Yeah. So that's how you change the battery too, right? Internally through here. It's a little bit of a pain to change the battery. We would like it if it was a little cleaner, but we got to make it brick shit house tough, right?
For sure.
That's the higher priority. So
now I think I remember you telling me when I was there, but I can't remember now. How do you swap out or recharge the battery? You don't have to take the whole base plate off, right? You can do that.
You don't take it off. No. Yeah, you have to take the front panel off. Okay, that's 2 screws. Yep. All right. With the 1.5X, you remove this, and then from there, this is what you actually change, and it's just a CR2. You know, it fits in there with the little plate. It's a little bit of a hassle. It really, I mean, it's a little bit. It's a little bit. That'll
come in time, right? With other things, other ways of doing things. You might redesign it. Who knows? And I think
we're thinking of some things, but
I mean, if you're using it like Britt's using it as his daily flashlight.
Amen. The only one I have on me usually.
Yeah, I was out getting the eggs with the chickens earlier, and I had one of my flashlights in my mouth while I was doing that. So,
yeah,
nice. Now you can just carry your guns around.
All right, I'm going to close down the contest.
All right. So if you have not entered, it is too late. It is too late. So we've had, I think we maxed out at like 30 people that have tuned in to watch the show. It could be wrong. I'm not sure. Because sometimes we go back and look at this stuff, and the numbers are completely different from what we see. So Matt is going to be tallying up how many people who have entered, and we're going to have Mike pick a number between whatever the 2 numbers are. And
holy moly!
That person is going to be our winner tonight.
I think we got quite a few people here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How high are you asking Matt to count? We're going to be here for a while.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We're just going to give him some numbers and pick between this number. Pick between 1 and 3, right?
All right. Pick between 3,000 and 3,035, Mike.
I'm gonna pick. I just want to go to the extremes, the limits on that. I want to just pick 3,000.
3,000.
All right, 3,000 it is. And
does that equate to number 1? Like whoever's number 1?
It's number 0.
That is Daniel Brazel. Daniel.
All right.
That's Daniel.
Good night.
Yep.
Congratulations. So what we're going to do is we will reach out. Matt will reach out to you, Daniel, and he will get your mailing information, and he's going to pass that along to the folks at Next Level Training, and they are going to send you all of your goodies.
Yeah.
Which is a SIRT pistol, a stick, the G-spot, and the torch.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Dude,
this is an amazing giveaway before Christmas. Holy moly.
Right?
That's a good win.
It's a huge
For sure.
win. Absolutely. My gosh. All right, and now he can finally show his wife.
There's a man right there.
Has the G-spot. Very, very cool. Of course, she probably won't believe it, but
so fun fact, Daniel is going to be on my entourage when we're there. He's going to be coming along to help do video and photos and stuff, along with David Moultrup and Andrew, the one that was asking about the spec sheets for the police department that he's working for. So all 3 of those guys are going to be staying with me in the Airbnb, and we're going to be hitting the ground running with SHOT Show this year. So I'm excited.
You know, I love that Matt travels with his own entourage. You know, we need a reality show based on Matt's entourage.
See, Charlie, I asked you if you wanted to sleep with us, but wait, no, that didn't come out right.
Right, we know what you mean.
Different.
Yeah, I'm staying at a different end of town.
Gentlemen, it is always a pleasure hanging out with you guys, talking to you guys. You are you're awesome in the industry. Everything you do, and everybody talks great about you, and your products are amazing. So keep up the good work. Keep doing what you're doing. It's making changes. So making changes in the industry, people's hearts, minds, keeping people alive. Keep it up. Britt,
Appreciate that very much.
Signed off. Where'd you go, Britt? You disappeared.
Britt's gone.
You must have got them all buttered up.
There you
There we are.
There we are.
Hey, Matt,
Good hands,
brother,
Britt. Way to fumble.
hot show. Hopefully, Charlie, we can see you there too.
Yes,
And,
I'm absolutely going to be there.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys so much. Listen, thanks for everyone for tuning in. We are, oh my gosh, I forgot the date. We're doing an ugly sweater show
next week.
Next week.
Wednesday, right? Isn't it Wednesday? Jeez.
I don't know. I know you wrote it down and told me, and I forgot, and I didn't write it down.
Okay.
But we're doing an ugly sweater show next week, and then January 2nd we are doing a show with Adam Kraut, who is the new. Oh my gosh, I forgot his title. He's got a new position with the Second Amendment Foundation, so that's going to be on January 2nd. Next week is going to be the ugly sweater contest. If you guys have on Wednesday, if you guys are around and you have ugly sweaters, do you know how hard it is to? I went to a couple of used clothes store places today, and I'm looking for ugly sweaters, and I found ugly shirts, ugly pants, ugly jackets. But
my wife dug mine up. She goes, I don't know if the lights still work on it because it's got all these lights all over it. It's like,
oh my gosh. I found a dress shirt with little images of Santa Claus grilling and drinking beer. So
that'll have to do.
That's what I'm going to have to wear. So anyway, we thank you guys for tuning in. Please tune in again next week, next Wednesday, for the ugly shirt episode, and then tune in again on January 2nd for the episode with Adam Kraut. We wish you guys a happy holiday season. Britt and Mike, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Or thank you guys for being on the show, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, Strong work.
Stay safe, guys.